week been? You accomplished anything new this week? Okay. So look, listen to me. Today I just want to go over success and what it means to you. What does it mean to you? Because success is what we call dynamic. Each individual have their own version of it. There's no right success and there's no wrong success. Success is individual. It's all about you, what you want, what you define as success. Now the first step is to define success in your life. What have you defined? Some of us have defined our success as money. I just want money. And you just want money. Having money means you're successful. While others have defined it as things. I want things. I don't necessarily have that much money, but as long as I got a bunch of things that look like I got money, I'm fine. Others define their success, they just want their family. They want family. They want their children. Education. I know people just define success as being educated. If I'm educated, I'm successful. If I'm a business owner, I'm successful. If I'm conscious, I'm successful. If I believe, if I'm religious, I'm successful. Whatever success is for you, you first have to define it. And it's so important that you define it because that way you know where you're headed. If you haven't defined it, then you don't know where you're headed. You left the house, you're leaving the house without a destination. You don't have a route. You may have a route, but you don't have a destination you're trying to reach. Let me get that right. A destination. Do you have one? So that's number one. Define it. Define it. Whatever it means to you, however you have to do it. Don't follow the social norm, the status quo. Define success to you. There's a guy named Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a very smart guy. He's over SpaceX right now. He's a self-taught rocket scientist. Think about that. This guy's a self-taught rocket scientist. He decided that he was going to create the world's first reusable rocket. Well, I guess the first one documented, because I believe a lot of things are created and they never get documented. But the first documented reusable rocket. Think what's so important about that is, if you can recall, every time we see a space shuttle, when the NASA program was in full swing, you'll see a space shuttle launch. The rocket is not the shuttle. The shuttle is the little ship that goes in outer space. The rocket is the one that go up and then it goes up so far and then it falls off. And then the shuttle continues to go. I don't know the dynamics. Some guys don't want to watch this and they know the full dynamics of it. But the rocket is the thing that falls off, and they normally will launch him from Cape Canaveral or wherever over an ocean. So when it goes up, it falls off and then it splashes into the water. So Elon Musk decided, outside of social norm, outside of what's accepted by everyone, that I'm going to create a reusable one. That it's going to go up, and the vision is it's going to go up, and then when it detaches itself, it's going to, instead of splashing in the ocean, it's going to land on its own. It's going to come back and it's going to reverse itself, and it's going to land, and it's going to safe and sound, and we can use it again. Now the people at NASA told them that come on, man, that's stupid. For years, that's never happened. All the people in that field, that area, told him he was crazy. One, you're not in the field. Two, that's never happened. And I always believe just because it hadn't happened before don't mean you can't do it. The Wright brothers. Just go down in history and name inventors, people who went against the social norm, who went against what was accepted. Now fast forward to your dream, to your version of success, your destination. Step outside of what everyone feels is correct and what the social norm may be, and accept your truth. That's your truth. You have to live it. And that segues and leads us into the second point. The first one is define. The second one is to redefine. If you already have been told, a lot of us, not just most of us, but a lot of us was told was successful. The white picket fence, they have these, you watch TV program tell you what success look like, and we chase after that. But that may not be success to you. Perfect example, we go to school, we learn, we get these educations, and we get degrees, we get in the career fields that we want, and then we get in there and we're miserable. We hate it. Why am I here? We go get ourselves in debt in school, or we go and work our butts off for years and years and years just to get in a field and do it professionally and cannot stand it. We have the white picket fence, we have the 2-car garage, we have the husband, we have the wife, we have the children, we have the dog, the swing set in the backyard, but we're completely miserable. Why? Because we're living someone else's definition of success. Your definition, true inside of you, may have been being single. You may not have want to be married. You may have want to be married, but you may not have want children. You may have want to be married, but like me, I want to live in the city. I want to live in a high rise. I don't want to own a home anymore. I don't want to own. They tell you success is buying and not renting. They say it don't make sense to rent. You're throwing money away. I beg to differ. I've owned a house for 15 years. 15 years now, and I don't know. Robert Kiyosaki say this in one of his books. He says, you were tricked into believing that your home was an asset. Your asset. He said, yes, it is an asset, but it's the bank's asset. It's not your asset. That's his theory. Go read it. Whatever is good for you is good for you. But the point I'm trying to make is get outside of the social norm and what's the status quo. The status quo is what is accepted as social norm, and if we have to all follow, it's like high school where everybody have to follow this same little thing. And if somebody decide they want to do something different, everybody else look at them crazy. I knew this guy used to wear dress clothes like suits to school. We all laughed at him, but he's a successful guy now. He used to wear like dress clothes. His parents used to send him to school with slacks and shirts and stuff. And we all picked at him. But now he's somewhere doing something great because he was outside of the social norm. So that's number one. That's number two. Number one, define what is success to you. Have you done it? Number two, redefine it. If you're living your daddy's dream, or you're living your mama's dream, or someone told you need to go to school and be a doctor. You may not have wanted to be a doctor. You may want to be a trash man. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with following your dream and your success. And lastly is rekindle it. For those who don't know, define. For those who are misguided, redefine. And lastly, for those who know but have lost it, rekindle. You may have started off on the path. You wanted to start your own business. You may have started in whatever. Life happened. You know how it goes. You had a couple of children. You lost a job. Someone got sick. Your parent died. Or whatever happened that knocked you off the course and got you focused on that and got you focused on life. And then you look up, it's 3 years later and you haven't made any progress on your dream, and all you're caught up in now is this life of survival and this life of existing, but you're not pursuing your definition of success. You got to rekindle it. You got to pick up the pieces and say, you know what, I want it to be this, and you got to follow it. You got to get back on track. I always was a nerd, but for some way I got off into this hard stuff. Like I'm a bona fide nerd, like straight up. I'm a bona fide, unadulterated nerd, but I was afraid to accept that truth. So I went to the total opposite. I wanted to be hard. I wanted to be this. I wanted to be that. So I did everything to pursue that image. But the truth of the matter is, I'm a nerd. Now I'm finally living out my nerdness right now. I can look at something. I can figure it out. It's nothing I don't feel like I can do, even though it's a lot of stuff I can't do. They say that's when you unconsciously incompetent. You don't know you can't do it until you do it, and then you realize, whoa. So I'm a nerd. That's what I am. But that's a truth that I finally had to accept in myself. Like I had to just look at myself and say, you know what, man, you always been a nerd. You was a reader. You always read. I've been reading from the time I can remember. I'm a nerd, and I'm happy being a nerd. I'm not a gangster. I'm not a thug. I'm not that. I may have picked up those traits and maybe ran in that area for a long time, but that's not me. That's not me. I am a nerd. So I had to accept that truth. So that had to be rekindled in me and my nerdness, y'all. So look, define it. If you haven't defined it, you've been too busy caught up in life. Life has caught you and you've been caught up in that. You got to define it. Right? You don't have to write it out. Everybody said if it ain't real unless you don't write it out. That ain't necessarily true for everybody. It don't allow nobody to place their restrictions and limitations on you. You may not have to write it out, or you may have to. But I don't believe in these general overtones for everyone. Just one way. It ain't real unless you write it out. You ain't gonna be successful unless you do this. No. You defined it. It's yours. This is your life. Do not allow the social norms, the status quo to define it. All right? You may have to be a pariah. Nobody want to be around you because you're chasing something. Everybody else look at you like you're foolish. They say you should do this. They talk about you. It don't matter. Forget them. Chase your dream. Two, redefine. You're living your mama's dream. You really didn't want to be a doctor. You wanted to be a veterinarian. You really didn't want to be a lawyer. Someone told you to be a lawyer and you did it because you thought that would make them happy. You really didn't want to do it. You just wanted to be you just wanted to live. You just wanted to make it through the week, spend your money, whatever. That's your life. Live it how you want to live, and finally rekindle. If it's died and it's dwindled, pick the pieces back up. And you know what? I'm going to start where I stand, using every tool in my hand. That's a good one. Start where you stand, using every tool in your hand. Hey, that's it. So thank you guys for watching. This is Larry, man. Redefine your success, define it, or rekindle it. I'll talk to you next time. God bless you.